I'm a bit squeamish for blood anyway, and I was losing a relatively large amount.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Harry Potter cast moments on the Graham Norton Show. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the best instances of the Potter cast on the BBC talk show, whether it was funny, shocking, or just memorable in another way. We'll even examine the Fantastic Beasts crew as well. Let's start an argument in the comments. What do you think is the best Harry Potter film? Number 10, Daniel Radcliffe. We kick off with the face of the Harry Potter franchise, Daniel Radcliffe. In all honesty, we could have easily made an entire video of just his appearances on Graham Norton, but this moment in particular happened in 2015.
And so I think all my life I've been really worked hard to not be that and to be as far away from that as possible, but that has sort of sometimes meant that you can be really rude to me, kind of.
In the interview, Radcliffe was questioned by Norton about the actor looking to become sterner when it comes to rude fans. Radcliffe then explains that he isn't the only HB star to have this problem. Rupert Grint, aka Ron Weasley, tends to say yes to whatever fans ask of him.
Rupert, I don't know the details of this at all, but Rupert ended up at somebody's house one night, just from continuing to say yes to things. And then, do you want to do that? Everyone's like, yeah,
We've all been
sure.
there.
Radcliffe even joked that Grint could end up the new Manchurian candidate.
So they'll be like, didn't really like the Harry Potter movies, but can you sign this? And I was like, don't do that. Just say a nice thing.
Number 9, Helena Bonham Carter. From a Potter hero to a villain. In 2012, Helena Bonham Carter appeared on Norton Show to discuss her role in Great Expectations. She spoke about how the role of Bellatrix Lestrange has affected her everyday life, as well as her career.
So people, they're funny because they actually get really scared. In fact, I was walking down Hampstead Street and somebody actually just screamed. Really grown adult.
She recalls a story of when a child spotted her when she was walking down the street. As she explains further, this added factor of being Bellatrix on screen can work in Bonham Carter's real-life favour. When children are around her house or misbehaving, she apparently grabs her wand to restore order.
I take my wand. I've got a wand at home, so when Billy brings my son, he brings kids who I don't particularly like. I just set the wand out. Or they're not being particularly good. Take the wand out and they suddenly,
We aren't sure if the classic cackle is included or not. Number 8, Kenneth Branagh. Imagine it being early in your acting career. You managed to convince your grandmother to cross an ocean to watch you in a play. However, you forgot that there's a scene involved where you're not wearing any clothes.
And in the way of saints, when I find God, I have to be born again. And when I am born again, I have to be born naked.
Well, that spooky tale is exactly what happened to Kenneth Branagh. On the Norton Show in 2022, the legendary Shakespearean actor spoke of his nan travelling to England from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Once Branagh had braced himself and left nothing to the imagination on stage, he was heckled by someone in the audience.
I've seen more meat on a dirty fork.
But fear not, Granny Branagh got involved by standing up for her grandson's modesty. He might have wished for a memory charm at that point. Number 7, David Tennant. Dressed in a fetching fluffy white jumper, David popped onto the Norton Show in 2021.
You just cut my finger and I thought, oh, that was... But at the time you thought, oh, that's nippy, but it's fine. Dame Footlights, you keep going.
He recollects one instance when portraying Romeo on stage. Near the end of the play, Romeo is confronted with Juliet's apparent demise. He then had a bit of a battle with Paris, where Tennant felt a slight twang on his finger from the sword.
It's coming down with the white suit is quickly going very Amityville Horror. It's all... And, of course, it's also dripping onto Juliet as well.
Tennant, standing over Juliet, sees the extent of his injury, terrifying the poor unsuspecting performer below. He realizes that soon he'll pass out, and he's a bit squeamish. So he races through the rest of his scene before lying down. What a sight that must have been for the poor Juliet actor.
I'm dead. She wakes up, shits herself.
Number 6, Ralph Fiennes. In 2016, we got some behind-the-scenes nuggets from Ralph Fiennes during Norton Show. During filming, Fiennes, in the Dark Lord's costume, once walked past a child backstage.
Anyway, I passed by this little child. I just looked at this boy. He just burst into tears.
It was the exact reaction you'd expect. He then went into detail about the costume, such as his problem with tripping on the long robes during scenes. Also, underneath the robes, he wore tights.
Now I had these tights on underneath. And they were like ladies' tights.
And they ripped in the middle.
Can I just say?
However, they kept falling down. In the end, Fiennes asked someone in the costume department to cut the tights into a sort of garter belt, which he wore throughout most of the franchise.
A very nice garter belt.
Well, that's an image we never thought about picturing before. Number 5, Margot Robbie? While she wasn't in the franchise directly, Robbie is here for a good reason.
Hardback, Harry Potter.
In 2020, Norton brought up her love of the Potterverse. He showed a picture of Robbie on her actual 13th birthday, celebrating by reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix with a cup of tea. Robbie even tells us what happens when she went to the optometrist.
I'm wearing glasses even though I don't need glasses. I lied to the optometrist because I wanted to have glasses like Harry Potter.
Robbie's husband, Tom Ackerley, was actually in a Potter film. She stated she would have married him sooner if she had known earlier.
My husband is in the Harry Potter movies. I know. I was like, had you told me sooner, we would have been married very quickly. But he was an extra. He was like, when he was a little kid, he's like one of the Slytherin extras.
Ackerley was actually in The Prisoner of Azkaban and was one of the extras that Tom Felton's Draco Malfoy pushes out the way to get to Buckbeak. Lucky Ackerley. Number 4, Maggie Smith.
Americans are very, well, you know, they're not shy Americans.
No. But I don't go anywhere, really, where they can get at me.
In 2015, Dame Maggie Smith was another Potter alumni to sit on the iconic red sofa. As soon as Norton mentions Harry Potter, the audience descends into cheers. Smith responds by showing off her magic talents by waving an invisible wand. On the other hand, she was less celebratory when Downton Abbey was mentioned.
It's only since Downton that people seem to know, who stopped me and asked me. But it's only since Downton, and that's television for you.
Interesting. Anyway, the Professor McGonagall actor spoke about how small people would say hello to her as they recognized her out and about. One kid decided to take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to ask Smith a burning question. Smith gave a pretty abrupt answer.
He said, were you really a cat? And I heard myself say, just pull yourself together.
Number 3, Miriam Margoyles. Just like Radcliffe, we could easily make a video on just Miriam Margoyles' appearances on Norton Show, but we selected this one from a 2021 episode. The Professor Sprout performer was asked about a story of when she parked on a double yellow line. When she came back, a police officer was writing a ticket for her car. She reacted angrily.
You've got a dick that small. Because I thought the best thing is to insult him as quickly as possible.
Which bizarrely didn't go down well. So Margoyles was arrested. When being interviewed, a detective found a pack of peppermint sweets and thought they were something of the illegal kind. A matron was called into the room.
She was going to give me an internal examination. I just knew that. Nothing had been said, but I knew it. So when she locked the door, she went out for a bit, I took all my clothes off immediately.
Seeing the writing on the wall, Margoyles took off all her clothes for the examination without prompting. Margoyles then joked that she enjoyed the experience.
And she came back in and she said, "You've been here before."
Number 2, Eddie Redmayne.
A lot of people don't know this, but Eddie is in fact a highly trained master magician. Now, are you a member of the Magic Circle?
No.
Who knew the Norton Show could be the setting to tease a possible cinematic crossover? In 2016, the Newt actor was on the sofa with Benedict Cumberbatch and Bryan Cranston. Norton made Redmayne perform a magic trick involving an empty colouring book.
This is a colouring book. There is nothing weird, odd, or bizarre about it other than it says the word magic on the front of it.
With slight reluctance at the start, Redmayne was soon delighted to show off his inner Paul Daniels.
No, harder than that.
During the trick, Redmayne even took out his Fantastic Beasts wand to help create the magic needed. Cumberbatch and Redmayne also joked about being sued for referencing a possible crossover of magic folk. But now that's all we want to see in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Number 1. Jude Law and Eddie Redmayne. By 2018, Redmayne would arrive on Norton's chat show again, this time with his Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald co-star Jude Law.
So, you know, I know a little bit. I'm really sticking to this don't talk about it clause.
Yeah. Don't pretend you stick to the secrecy clause.
Of course I
do. Law spoke about when he was cast as Dumbledore. He felt he had to meet J.K. Rowling in order to research the role and get in the mind of the wizarding legend. As such, he received a lot of juicy information from Rowling, some of which hadn't been made public at the time. Sadly, Law was incredibly careful to avoid spilling any beans on the show.
I mean, Dumbledore just got 200% hotter.
Oh my God.
Here's another one. Jude Law is playing a young, hot and gay Dumbledore in Next Fantastic Beasts. I'm sweating already.
Norton then showed a slightly embarrassed, yet flattered Law all the thirsty social media posts commenting on him in the role of young Albus, the last of which is just perfect.
Dumbledore, more like Dumbledore.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.